Hello, this is Lauren and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to do a little exercise to show you how sometimes we can come up with a probable birth date just with a little information and using solar arcs. There are times when, for example, we meet somebody and we don't want to ask them their date of birth. Maybe it's a little bit intrusive when we're first speaking to somebody, but maybe we're very curious and we want to take a look at their horoscope. So at any rate, that was a situation that I was in recently. And I did ask this particular woman in our conversation what her sign was, and she said she was an Aries. And as we chatted, she told me where she had grown up originally, so I had a birthplace. And she also discussed her age. We were similar in age, and therefore I had her year of birth. So I had the fact that she was an Aries, her year of birth, 1965, and that she grew up in the UK in a particular area. So I had that information. Now, in our conversation, the one thing that she said that was so critical is she told me that she was born as a twin, but that at 9 months old, when she was 9 months old, her twin passed away, had died. So I thought to myself, I went to an ephemeris for the year 1965, when the sun would be in the sign of Aries. And I looked to see when two planets or more would be within 1 degree or less apart from each other. Why? Because in solar arc technique, the planets will move 1 degree for 1 year of life. So I knew that if a planet arced to another planet at age 1, or hopefully at age 9 months, that could reflect, possibly, the death of the sibling. So it was very interesting. So as I went through the ephemeris, I saw that right around April 9th, both Mercury and Venus would be within 1 degree of the sun. And oftentimes Mercury can represent a sibling, because in traditional astrology, when we have Aries on the ascendant, Gemini is on the 3rd house, and Mercury rules over siblings. So that was quite possible. And then I went to see that it just so happened on that date, Saturn and Uranus were also within 1 degree apart. And so therefore we would get the solar arc of Uranus to Saturn. So another interesting information that I was able to extract, I asked her, did she know around what time she was born? Again, I didn't want to ask for the birth date because I didn't want to be too intrusive. And she told me she was born right around 3 a.m. So I brought up a horoscope on April 9th to see how the solar arcs would be reflected within 1 year of birth. So bringing up a chart at 3 a.m., we can see that Saturn is rising. Excuse me, Capricorn is rising, so her rising sign would be Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. And so we get the solar arcs. Let's start at the bottom here. We have the solar arc Mercury coming to the sun. We conjunct the sun. We have solar arc Venus conjunct the sun in the 3rd house of siblings. Okay, so that fits. We have solar arc Uranus coming to oppose Saturn within 1 year, as you can see. Uranus is at 11 degrees, Saturn at 12 degrees, and both planets co-rule the ascendant, because Aquarius is also reflected in the first house of the chart, so that would have been something that would certainly have affected her identity. Sudden, unexpected Uranus. And so just from those solar arcs right there, the story fits. That in the first year of birth, there was something sudden, unexpected that happened that influenced or affected her sense of identity development, pertaining to possibly third house matters, okay? So I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. I don't even have to ask her her birth date precisely. I mean, of course, it is a probable birth date. Now, the other thing that was really interesting to me is notice Neptune conjunct the midheaven, almost precisely conjunct the midheaven. And so, Neptune. If I had said Uranus, Neptune. Now, think about this. The top of the chart, of course, is the midheaven, but the bottom of the chart, the MCIC axis, of course, is the home life, okay? And when Neptune comes up in solar arc or transit to the midheaven or the IC, conjunct or opposed, there are often very unusual circumstances that can happen within the early home life, or the home life, we could say, or with a parent or something along those lines. Of course, as an adult, with the profession or the social standing. But at any rate, if I were to adjust the birth time back so that Neptune is coming to arc the midheaven within the first year of life, I would have to move the birth time back about 4 minutes, okay? So that solar arc Neptune would conjunct the midheaven. And on the other possibility, it's possible that the solar arc midheaven, if the birth was a little later, 4 minutes later, Neptune would be in the 10th house, and the solar arc midheaven would conjunct Neptune in the first year of life, you see. So the birth time at 3 a.m. was almost exactly perfect to have Neptune up there. Plus the fact, this gets quite interesting, is that this woman is an underwater photographer. Neptune rules the water, does it not? And it also rules over photography. And there we have it, right, conjunct the midheaven. She's also comes across very, I would say, imaginary. I told her, wow, you have a great imagination, with the way she was speaking. And also we could see with the conjunction of Mercury and Venus natally, that's highly idealistic. Plus she has Neptune opposed Jupiter in the horoscope. And her response to me is, I'm a visionary. Not imaginative, yes, but I'm a visionary. And that would be typical of the Neptune opposed, or Neptune with Jupiter. So, I giggled to myself later how interesting it is to not even have to ask somebody what their birth date is, but just with a little bit of information, even it helps that I had the birth time so that I could see the setup of the horoscope, which just fits beautifully, perfect. But it's just a fun little example of how we can use astrology in all different ways, and the accuracy of solar arcs, and the symbolism of the planets in our life. So anyways, just wanted to share that. Come back online. If there's anything you need to know about me, it's in the description below. Please get in touch. And I wish you a great day, and thank you. I hope this exercise inspires you to play around with people that you might not have their exact birth date. Okay, be well, be blessed. Bye-bye now.